Hello, my name is Ibukunoluwa, Imabong-Abasi Ajayi. I'm 25 years old. My mom is Akwa Ibom and my dad is Yoruba, hence the mixture of names. I'm the firstborn. I have a younger sister, and I'm the only one with sickle cell anemia. My life is, of late, has been very, very funny. I've had a second chance at life. I'll get into that later. So I'm taking every opportunity I get. I'm going out there, I'm doing things. I'm a model, I'm a motivational speaker, a content developer as well, and I also write. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. So I'm taking every opportunity that comes my way. I try to go out, network, meet people, take that new, fresh life and just enjoy it. This life is only once, So yeah. Family-wise, my mom has been my rock, my sister, because we're just two, so we're really close, like tight knit and everything, and they're always there for me. And my dad as well, he's a man, so he can't really do everything. But for us ladies, we're very close, and it's just been both of us and my mom and my dad, so we're very close-knit family. My name is Ibukunoluwa, Imabong-Abasi Ajayi. I'm the face of sickle cell, and this is my warrior story. Life with sickle cell has been a crazy love affair. Um, when you're diagnosed with something like that and you're told at a young age, you don't want to talk about it, you're ashamed of it, you hide away, you shy away. When people say, oh, there's sickle, you just want to disappear. When you fall sick, you don't want to tell people, and it's just a whole process of trying to deny. But growing up, getting to this age, it's a different case entirely. So now I have accepted the fact that I have sickle cell. I've learned to live with it, learned to cope with it, and through my life, I'm able to inspire other people. They see me, they see things I do, and they just marvel. How can this person have this much strength? This person that's supposed to be weak, that's supposed to, the word sickler, just makes you think that this person is always sick all the time. So they always admire my strength, and every time I go out there and do something new, and the world is clapping. So I'm really, it's a love affair with sickle cell. Some days are good, some days are bad, but we've learned to live with it, we've learned to cope with it, and just take each day as it comes. They say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed. So I take my medication, try to drink a lot of water. I don't do so much of exercising because I had something called level ulcer for 8 years, so it doesn't let me do a lot of rigorous activities. But I take all my medications, I drink water, try to stay hydrated, and try to catch enough sleep. And then going to work, coming back, that can be very stressful. So weekends are my alone time. I rest and just get ready for the following week. Stigmatization is, I think, a sister of any disease because it comes along with it. People who don't understand what you're going through, people who don't know what it is, they just, especially the word sickle, I hate it so much because it's like a stigma on you. You can't take it off. When people say, oh, that person is a sickle, everyone begins to treat you funny. Some years ago when I had level ulcer, in the initial stages, it used to smell a lot and it used to hurt me very badly. I couldn't do so much. And then that was really the period where that stigma, sickle cell, so people just look at you and be like, she's a sickle, that's why. And you know that you can do so much more, if not that sometimes you're just sick and there's really nothing much you can do about it. So I would like that idea, especially in the work environment. You go to work and the minute they check and see that you're SS, in fact there was a job I had an interview And when I went for a blood test, I came back. They told me they'll get back to me. I already knew that was because of my genotype. So I had already zeroed my mind like, okay, I wasn't gonna get this job. But then I got called and started asking me all these funny questions. Oh, how often do you fall sick? What's your calendar like and stuff and stuff and that. So especially in the workplace, people don't want to give you jobs because they think that you won't be capable, and it's not true. We work twice as hard to prove ourselves, to prove that we're stronger, we can do this, and I think the world should give us a chance. My biggest fear is not being able to achieve everything that I know I have the capability to. I've been through so much, and I want my life to be an inspiration. I want my life to be a source of motivation to other people. So when things happen that make me feel like I might not be able to achieve all of that, it scares me a lot. Especially when you have crises and you're so sick and it's like, this might be it. That's my biggest fear, not being able to achieve everything that I know that I can achieve.
What do you think is the greatest misconception about sickle cell warriors?
The greatest misconception about sickle cell warriors is the fact that we're lazy. We're not lazy. We're not laid back. We don't just like to chill, or we don't just like to not do stuff. Sometimes you get anemic and you can't get up. For example, when I had leg ulcers, I was bedridden for months. I would crawl around my house when I couldn't walk. I would hop, I would limp, I would use crutches. I was incapacitated at that point. And sometimes my family would be like, oh, so you can't even do this, you can't even do that. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. Friends, sometimes family, sometimes outsiders, they just think you just want to chill, you know. Everybody should do everything for you. It's not true. We have our moments where we can't be strong, and that's where we need others to be strong for us. And then when we can, we do everything to ensure that we put our best foot forward, and we do work twice as hard. So we're not lazy, we just get anemic sometimes. So bear with us. Sometimes limitations come, especially with the leg ulcers I had. It's very incapacitating when it's painful, when it's infected, you can't walk, you can't move. Like I said earlier, I was crawling around my house and moving like someone who was an invalid, you know, but after you just take painkillers and you just try to not focus on that issue at the moment. So you distract yourself, you find a reason, it's something to motivate you to get up in the morning and try, which was what I did for the 8 years. I kept finding new reasons to get up in the morning and try. You just don't give up. You can't say, oh, I'm done, that's it, and then you just waste away. You have to find a reason to get up in the morning. So you either pray, you look for something motivating, you call a friend, find a reason to get up in the morning and continue to push. You can't let sickle cell hold you down. Okay, so this issue is very, very serious for me because I've been in that situation before, you know, met someone who was SS, didn't know initially, fell in love and stuff and stuff and stuff. And then the guy was, okay, we don't have to have children, we can elope. I know our parents will not agree, it's just two of us. Then I kept thinking to myself, I had my leg ulcers then, so if I'm sick and this guy is sick, how do we do it? Is it a Titanic situation? I don't understand. So for me, I feel like that word love, it disappears faster than it comes. The minute issues start coming in, the minute you start falling sick, the minute kids come into the picture, that's when you know that love sometimes is not action. Sorry, sometimes it's not just a word, it's an action. And that action can be redone and the person will just disappear. Someone you thought would be there with you forever. It's not even something you should even try. It's not even something you should consider. Think about yourself. When you're in crisis, now imagine having to deal with someone else's. You know how it is for you, and then you want to do it, and then you have to bring children into this situation. It's just crazy. It's a no-go area. People who are sickle cell should not marry. People who are AS and AS should not marry. ASAC, any of those genotypes that don't go together, do not marry. Your children will not thank you for it. I can promise you that they will not thank you. So my advice to the younger people, the younger generation who are living with sickle cell is that, honey, it's not the end of the world. Growing up with it initially those years, they'll tell you, oh, if you live up to 23, if you live up to 25, the world keep moving the bar for the age where you're supposed to live up to. And at some point, you just be like, please take every day as it comes. Take your routine medication, take fruits, rest when you can. Don't stress yourself. Don't try to prove to anybody anything. When you're sick, you take out time for yourself. When you're strong and you can do what you need to do, don't overstress yourself. Listen to your doctors, take your medication, and take every day as it comes. Do not ever let any situation overwhelm you. Sometimes rejection may come. God is preparing you for something better. That's the honest truth. So whatever comes your way, it's not the end of the world. If it can be fixed, fix it. If you can, if it's broken, repair it. Buy another one. It's not. Just don't allow anything to overwhelm you to the point where you can't handle it anymore. Try your best and put your best foot forward.
I am not a stranger to.
So for bone marrow transplant, I've heard about it. I've had friends and family say, oh, why don't you guys do bone marrow transplants? And so if you're able to get a good match, fine. Go ahead with the bone marrow transplant. Not everyone has someone who's going to give them a bone marrow, but if you are able to, you have a donor and your family is able to afford the fees, by all means, go ahead and get the bone marrow transplant done. I haven't done it because I don't have anyone to donate a bone marrow for me, and honestly, I'm tired of surgeries. I've had 3 already, and I'm just 25. I can't live my life like this. So, but if you have the opportunity to, and you have a donor and finances, please go ahead, get bone marrow transplant done, and live your life. It's a choice. So during crisis, so when I'm going through extreme pain, I find a distraction. This has worked for me so much. I have become a movie freak because of this. So when I'm in extreme pain or I'm having some sort of crisis, I always have my laptop by my side or my phone with movies. So I immediately take my mind off it and focus directly on the movie, music, maybe talking to my friends. After a while, you realize that you don't feel that much pain. You don't feel as bad as you were feeling some seconds ago. So, but if you put your focus on that problem and on that crisis and on that, you just be miserable and frustrated the whole day. So always find a distraction so that it takes your mind off it, and then later you can probably just fall asleep, or it doesn't seem as burdensome and as heavy as you have seen if you'd focused on it. It's just like the story in the Bible. The snakes on the ground were biting the children of Israel, and God told Moses to put a snake on the staff and put it up, and those who looked up were lived, and people who kept looking at the problem, they died. So I think I've always been very open about my genotype. Right from when I was in secondary school, everyone knew. We were just 3 in school then. Myself, my best friend, and a senior who we lost later. So I was always open about it, and I always feel like it's better for people around you and who are always close to you to know your genotype. For example, you're in a work environment, no one knows your genotype and rush you to the hospital, they are just wasting time trying to deliberate, but they're able to act fast and help you out. So it's always best for people to know. Coming out moment, I'll say maybe a few years ago on Instagram, when I started really talking about it more often than I was before. Yes, there's stigmatization attached to sickle cell, especially in the workplace. So you apply for a job and they send you for medicals and you don't hear from them. I heard about a guy who came back from the US. He studied something computer and he was very good. He had first class, and he applied for a job here in Nigeria. And he came for the interview. It was awesome. They told him that he was going to get the job. All that was left was just to get the offer letter. It was a done deal, and somehow a HR executive heard that he was SS, and that was it. He never got the letter. He never got the job. I also had a similar experience where I was told to come and get my offer letter, and the same day that they got my medical test results and they saw that I was SS, and they asked me to go home and come back, or they'll get back to me. And they finally did. I was surprised. Apparently, I found out later that someone had intervened on my behalf. So that stigma is there, especially when it comes to work. People always think that, oh, you can't perform, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. But they've forgotten that you spent 4 years in university, you went to secondary school, you went to primary school, you coped all through that. And just so that when you come out, you'll be able to get a job, and then they're denying you of that job because of your genotype. It's not fair. That should be changed. HR executives should look into it. There should be a policy to prevent people from being stigmatized at the workplace. And then also when it comes to marriage, I've had a boyfriend break up with me because his mom said he can't date someone who was SS. It hurt a lot, and I had to move on, but because I know that I'm worth more than that. So all of that should stop. It's not a communicable disease. You can't catch it. It doesn't affect any other person than the person who has it. So I don't think it's something that people should be worried about. All we need is love, care, and just patience. My health condition definitely had an effect on my mental health years ago. When I was still battling with leg ulcers, I was depressed for a very long time, and you just get to that place where you're just tired. Am I doing well? Especially when you're the only sickle cell person in your family. So the question of why me, why not my sister or somebody else, and why does this thing have to happen? Why is it not going? Why is there no cure? It can be draining mentally, all the whys. So I just had to fight my way out of depression and mental states. And then that was when I became aware of mental awareness, that this thing can really affect you. So you never allow yourself to get to that point where you're depressed. That's why I always find a momentary distraction whenever I start to feel sad, whenever I start to worry or think about it, because we can't say that, oh, you're done with it for life. It comes and goes, but you have to determine in your mind to not focus on it. So I'm a Christian, and my faith has really, really helped me believe in God and prayers, and just that belief that there's a purpose behind everything. It's crazy to live a life that's purposeless. So that belief that yes, there's a reason behind all of this. God has a plan, and some way, somehow, everything's going to work itself out. And prayers and just having people and family pray for you, just knowing that you have people who are praying for you and just holding on to God on your behalf. I've seen my faith work for me in amazing ways, honestly, and I really thank God for grace and for His mercies.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away.
So my greatest challenge with sickle cell has really been, so I'll call it being tied down. When I had leg ulcers, and even till now, you're just in a place. It's not like you're not moving forward, and it seems like you're retrogressing. So especially when the thing hasn't healed, or it's healing and it breaks down, and then it's like you're going back and forth, and there's no end. It's like a vicious cycle, and keeps coming and keeps coming. So that's always my greatest challenge with it. So when you think you're done, a few months, you give yourself a little bit of stress, it's back. You do something small, you break down. So it's like you're in this vicious cycle and it's not ending. But I've come to see that, there's some things that can really help. Taking out of water, taking out of food, taking your medication, resting, taking out time in the year to rest. So I always find a way to go on holiday if I can afford it and my family can afford it. That break always really helps me because when I come back, I'm stronger and it's much better and I'm able to manage things better. My greatest joy as a person living with sickle cell is that my life is a testimony and my life is an inspiration to others. So people just see you and they're like, wow, so you can do this, oh, so you model, oh, so you do that. They're shocked because everyone just assumes that that's the end. Like, you have sickle cell, death sentence, you cannot do anything. But when people hear my story, my journey with leg ulcers and all of that, they are inspired and it really, really helps me. That feedback from people, that, oh yes, I look up to you. I won a giveaway from Tokemaki once I think it was last year, and she did a post saying that, oh, I inspire her, and I inspire you, wow, okay. So that gives me a lot of joy, and that couldn't have happened if I wasn't SS. I would have just been some other person on the street.